I'm here, my son is an American, I pay my taxes in America, I pay alimony in America. I feel I'm assimilated here, and so I feel part of this. I think the world is part of this. Anyone who cares about anything, when these rat bastards flew those planes into those buildings, if you're a human, it would insult everything inside you. And if you've watched TV at all in the past few days, you'll have seen plenty of talk on 9/11. And I don't really know what kind of show we do here. If you watch this for any length of time, you'll know I'm not kidding about that. I don't really know what we do, but I'm not going to run away from this. This is a defining moment for our generation. For one generation, it was the assassination of Kennedy. For another, it's 9/11. It's where were you on September the 11th? So here's where I was. I was here in Los Angeles. I was married at the time, and I got an early phone call from my then father-in-law. I was awake. I mean, my son was less than 6 months old at the time, so I was awake. And my father-in-law worked in Wall Street near Ground Zero, and he said, turn on the TV, World War III is broken out, it's crazy. And we turned on the television and watched it unfold, like most of the country. I saw the second plane hit as it happened live, and I didn't hear from my father-in-law again for 4 hours when the phone service was down. And we eventually heard from him. He, like a lot of people, just walked uptown. They just headed towards Central Park, covered in dust, do whatever they did, and they got out of there. And I remember the feeling of when the news reports later in the day, they said the planes had, the rest of the planes in America, the air traffic had ceased and that all the planes were safely landed. A strange sense of relief. America felt like a very small town that day. You know, that kind of, right, get everybody home sort of thing. And back then I was working on the Drew Carey show. I was still in show business then. I was working on the Drew Carey show. And around about noon, the stage manager called. We used to shoot the show on a Tuesday. And he called and he said, we're not going to tape today, the stage manager. I said, what, is Drew okay with that? Because, you know, lunch is catered on Tuesdays. He said, no, it's fine. So where we taped the Drew Carey show was at the Warner Brothers studio lot, which is in Burbank here. So a few days later, we went back to work. Air travel was still shut down. The country was still reeling. And mourning, and everyone, it seems strange to say it now, but I remember thinking, we thought this was World War III, when's the next one coming? Tomorrow? The day after? And there was all these memorial services everywhere, people in workplaces all over the country, you know, I'm sure you remember, people would get together and pray and sing and hold hands and do whatever they could, and Warner Brothers was no different, and they had a memorial service on the back lot, you know, the studio police, the studio fire department, all the people that worked there, the Teamsters, the cast from Friends were there, the casts of the Drew Carey were there. Drew Carey cast looked like they were Teamsters, but we were all in the back lot. In the back lot of Warner Brothers, it's where they shoot the Gilmore Girls. It's Main Street, USA. It's made to look like that. You know, it's a quaint little town. It's got a town square, it's got a bandstand in the middle, they've got a town drunk, he runs the studio, you know, it's everything. It's Main Street, USA, and the street was packed with everyone who worked there. And we're all huddled together, and back then, Warner Brothers had, this is before 9/11, they used to have this giant flag, you remember this flag they used to have? They used to have this giant stars and stripes on the side of one of the sound stages. It's a huge thing, this flag, but the size of a city block. And for the service, the Teamsters had jerry-rigged this flag on some scaffolding in the town square. You know, it was this flag on some scaffolding. It was held on with clips, you know, these Jubilee clips or whatever they call them, just holding this flag on. And it was a very, very hot day like you get in Burbank in September. It was horrible. And this flag up there, there was some shade, so everyone was huddled under the shade of the flag. And it seemed very poignant at the time that everyone was frightened and everyone was, you know, but we're all kind of huddled under this flag for protection. And at this time of year, the Santa Ana start to blow in Los Angeles, the winds start to blow, and they can pick up a bit. And halfway through the ceremony, as the studio, you know, everyone's saying their piece, this flag started to ripple with the winds that are coming up. And it started to ping loose from the jerry-rig. The flag started to kind of move, and I thought, oh, God, we can't have this now. This flag can't fall down on us now. There's something very wrong about that. And a couple of these little clips pinged out, but the flag stayed where it was. And it's something that I'll never forget, because for all the fear and terror that 9/11 brought into us, I thought then, when I saw that flag stay there, I thought, that's the way it is here. This is an ill wind. And it moved the flag. And a couple of clips popped. And the country reeled back from it. And for all the arguments and all the rascals and the scoundrels on either side of political debates and all across who try and claim this awful, awful day as something they own, there is argument and debate in America, and that's what makes us the country where they are. And when that wind blew, and when that ill wind blew in America, the flag was still there. The flag was still there. Maybe somebody should write a song about that. We'll be back in a minute.